Hello, everybody. Welcome on back to a Minecraft snapshot showcase for W2111A. There's a lot that's happened in this snapshot. Starting out, we have the deep dark, frogs, tadpoles, mangrove stuff, mud stuff, and Sculk updates. Along with this, a small, sweet little change for 3D directional audio. And with that, let's go ahead and jump right on into the snapshot and let's start seeing what it all has to offer. So the first thing that I wanted to show off today were frogs. Now, to my understanding, there are 3 types of frog variants. Out here in the middle temperature climates, we have frog 1, which is this orange frog. In the colder weather climates, we have frog 2, which is this green guy here. And frog number 3 is the pale guy. As you can see, these frogs are pretty far along in development already. They can jump, they can swim, they can walk on land, they can croak if you're listening, and they can swim. So now let's say we go ahead and give all these frogs a small slime. These frogs are going to track it down, eat it, and produce slime balls. Now, if we go ahead and give the frog a magma cube, it's going to eat it and then shoot out the frog light of its body color, if that makes sense. So the orange frogs are going to give us orange frog lights, as we just saw earlier. Let's clean this mess up a little bit. There we go. So as these small magma cubes get eaten, we're going to get only orange frog lights. When the frogs in the warm climate eat the magma cubes, we are going to get the pearlescent frog light. When the frogs in the cold climate eat the frog lights, we now go ahead and get the verdant frog light. One thing I've currently noticed, though, is that I am currently in a frozen ocean, which is a cold climate biome. However, when we spawn in a frog, it is that medium temperature biome frog that appears, which is weird in my opinion, because you would think it would be the green frog, which spawns in the cold climates. I don't know if this is currently a bug or something that Minecraft developers have not quite realized, but it'll be interesting to see if that changes. And for the science of it, when you spawn in a frog and you kill it, you get a little bit of XP. I would assume it's probably that 5 XP, which I believe is like the standard amount for a passive mob. So let's not kill any frogs, shall we? And to just quickly show off the 3 frog lights in night, we have the yellow or the ochre frog light. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. These are this yellow frog light is the color that you get from the medium temperature biome frogs. The green or the verdant frog light comes from the cold climates, and the pearlescent frog light comes from the warm climate biomes. As you can see, they let off a good amount of light. Their block light value is 15 or 14, so these are really bright lights and would do a great job of lighting up areas for the new 1.18 lighting update. We can also breed the frogs by giving them slime balls. This will go ahead and allow the 2 frogs to sooner or later breed. There we go. After they bred, one of them should find their way over to the water. There you go, girl. She's going to go to the water and... Come on. Come on. No, it's going to be you. Who's gonna do it? You're going to do it. There we go. One of them will make their way over to the water and lay down the frog spawn. I've gone ahead and laid down a bunch of the frog spawn onto the water. Oh, it's happened. I was messing around in my inventory. Oh, there they go. Look at all the little tadpoles spawning in now. I don't know if the rest of them are going to spawn in now, but we got 3 of them. 3 of them turned into actual tadpoles, and it looks like we got a really good rate of return. Although the 3 frog spawn we have a bunch of tadpoles swimming around in this water. So now tadpoles are pretty basic in nature. They go ahead and they just swim around in water until they're ready to grow up a frog. They will grow into the different shade of the frog, whether that be the orange, the pale, or the green frog, depending on if it's in the correct climate to do so or not. Tadpoles can also be picked up in a bucket with a simple right click, and you'll have yourself a tadpole in the bucket. These can be placed back down on land or in water, just like the axolotls. If for whatever reason you are a monster and you put a tadpole on the ground, this tadpole is going to flop around kind of like a fish on land, as the changelog describes it, and it's going to flop and flop until it eventually suffocates and dies, just like a fish would. This poor little guy, his life gone. Up next to talk about is all of the mangrove wood additions to this game today. What I mean by that is that we have all the new mangrove blocks. We have the planks, we have the slabs, we have the stairs. Over here, we have mangrove roots and the muddy mangrove roots. We, of course, have mangrove logs and stripped logs. We have the wood and the stripped wood, which just means that we don't see the inner, tree rings of the tree. It's solid bark on all sides. We have the mangrove leaves. Along with that, we have the fence and the fence gate. We have the mangrove pressure plate and the mangrove door and the mangrove button. We have mangrove trapdoors. We have the mangrove boat, of course. And we, of course, have the mangrove sign, which Glow Ink does work with it as well. So now the question is, how do you get all the cool new mangrove blocks? Well, to do this, it's quite simple. First, you need to find a mangrove leaf that is suspended in air. I have this magic one here. And if we bone meal it, it will cause a new propagule to start growing beneath it, which are these guys right here. There are 4 growth stages to the propagules, and these can be accelerated by bone mealing them until they get to their full adult propagule. Once it's fully grown, you can go ahead, knock it off with your bare hand or any tool, and you will get the propagule. Now, you can use these like a normal sapling. You can plant it on the ground and bone meal, and it will grow into a beautiful oak tree. The mangrove tree itself is currently not in Minecraft yet, so let's just imagine that there is one here. We'll throw an image up on the screen. The oak tree is currently just a placeholder for now, and in future snapshots, the mangrove tree will be. But for now, we can still access and use all these beautiful blocks that were shown off over here earlier. Up next, let's talk about mud. Mud is a brand new block that will generate in the new mangrove biome. It has a really unique sound when placed and broken. When you walk across mud, you're going to sink down just that little bit, almost like you're on soul sand. So if we go ahead and look into the F3 screen, I've shrunk down 0.125 of a block when you get onto the mud. Mud is also semi-renewable. I say semi-renewable because you need dirt, and dirt is technically, I guess, a finite resource in the Minecraft world, but there's definitely plenty of dirt, so I guess we'll go ahead and we'll call it a renewable resource. To make mud, you can either do it automatically using water bottle and a dispenser. When we hit that button, dirt will turn into mud. You can also do this manually by using the water on the dirt, and it will turn right into mud as well. So now you're also supposed to be able to make packed mud, and it says that packed mud can be crafted from mud. However, I've tried to place mud in here in every possible way, and I don't seem to be able to create packed mud at all. I've also tried putting it in the furnace, and that also currently does nothing. I've tried lighting mud on fire, but that doesn't give me packed mud at all either. And I've even tried putting a dripstone underneath it to try to pull out the water. However, I can't seem to get packed mud any way that I can think of crafting it. If you guys know how to properly craft packed mud, please let me know down in the comments below, and I will make a quick video or a short updating on that. Thank you. Disregarding my issues to not be able to make packed mud, this is what its texture looks like on its own. You can also craft mud brick slab, mud brick stairs, and mud brick walls. To do that, you can go into the crafting table or your just regular inventory crafting, put 4 of them in a square just like so, and you get 4 mud bricks. From there, you can go ahead and make your usual slabs, stairs, and walls. Something I forgot to mention as well, you can put your packed wood bricks into the stone cutter to create all of your different variations, just like you would with any other stone type block. However, you cannot just put in normal packed mud to get out all of the rest of the variations. It has to be the bricks in order to get these new items. A new biome has been added to this snapshot as well, that of course being the deep dark. Now, compared to that first experimental snapshot that came out a couple weeks ago, this is a massive thing comparatively. I mean, there is so much Sculk around, and it's everywhere. If we get up close and personal into this deep dark biome, you can see Sculk is everywhere. It's all across the ceilings, it's on the walls, it's all over the floor. And here, of course, you can find all the new Sculk blocks, those of which we will be going over shortly. One thing to note is that mobs do not spawn in these deep dark biomes. So if you check your F3 screen and see that you are indeed in the deep dark, you don't have to worry about mobs spawning in here at all, which is super sweet. The new Sculk blocks added are the Sculk Vein, the Sculk Catalyst, the Sculk Shrieker, the Sculk Sensor. Starting out with the Sculk Catalyst. The Sculk Catalyst is the block that's going to transform your world into that of Sculk. What I mean by that is if we spawn in a random unhurt mob, kill it, instead of dropping XP, the Sculk Catalyst is going to absorb that XP and transform the world around it into Sculk. Now, if we go ahead and mine up these Sculk blocks, we will get the XP back. It's basically storing the XP in a hidden vault. Not really a hidden vault, but it's storing the XP within the block. Up next, we're going to talk about the Sculk Vein. The Sculk Vein will grow next to the Sculk blocks when we kill mobs near the catalyst and the XP spreads. These Sculk Veins can be placed in any orientation, including upside down and on the side of blocks. As a quick note, these Sculk blocks will also spread underwater. So if I spawn in chickens underwater, you can see that the Sculk is still forming underneath it. Using bone meal does not work for the Sculk Catalyst, or the Sculk Veins, or the Sculks, or really any of that sort. The best way to collect all of these Sculk items in survival mode is with Silk Touch. You need Silk Touch to collect up these items. If I don't have Silk Touch, you can see that they all just despawn upon breaking. That goes for the Catalyst and the Shriekers and the Sensors as well. The next block to talk about is the Sculk Sensor. Now, Sculk Sensors get triggered by sound. So if I walk around it, you can see it lighting up and that little sound particle flies towards it. This also includes jumping, killing animals walking around. Anything that makes sound in general is going to go ahead and set off that Sculk Sensor. Sculk Sensors also power redstone. So if I lay down a line of redstone, you can see when it's not attached to the Sculk Sensor, nothing happens. However, as soon as it gets attached, the redstone will light up. And it only lights up if the Sculk Sensor gets triggered. So if I jump, the redstone lights up, and then it goes back on kind of like pressing a button using a trapdoor, except now it's triggered by sound. Take it away from triggering the sensor, you can sneak. This will kind of turn you into incognito mode, and the Sculk sensor won't be able to hear you walking around. That also goes for jumping. The other way to not set off the Sculk sensors is by using wool. As you can see, I'm jumping on the wool, and the Sculk sensor cannot see me. Running back and forth in the wool also does nothing for the Sculk sensor. I can be back here, placing down blocks of all sorts, and the Sculk sensor will never be able to hear me. However, if I go out here and start to make sound outside of this wool wall, the Sculk sensor will be able to pick back up. And that includes walking and jumping. So you just have to be silent and safe behind the wool. The last thing to talk about is the Sculk Shrieker. Shriekers are also technically powered by redstone. They can be set off by the Sculk sensor. So if we trigger the Sculk sensor, it should talk to the Shrieker. That feature's not in here yet, but that is how it worked in the experimental snapshot, at least. What if we power it with redstone? No, nothing. Okay, well, we can set it off by jumping on you, right? Okay, what if we're in survival mode? Now, can we set you off? No. So, after reading the Minecraft forum about this new snapshot, it does not appear that the Shrieker is in full working capacity in 22W11A here. On the experimental snapshot, it works giving you darkness and that whole effect and spawning in the warden. However, none of that appears to be in this snapshot currently. That is something that should be added in later on. The last thing to talk about today is 3D directional audio. And what this means is that as I turn, obviously this is probably really only going to be heard by me, maybe by you headphones on YouTube here. But as I turn, I will be able to hear a smooth transition from right ear to left ear from this fire. In previous Minecraft, the only way you would hear fire was either solely from the right ear, if I'm standing this way, or solely from the left ear. It didn't matter which direction I was facing, fire would only have been heard from the right ear or the left ear, even if I was in this little in-between spot. This goes for all Minecraft sounds now, including, sheep, horses, villagers. Everything that ever makes a sound will now have that 3-directional audio to it as well. And that's going to go ahead and do it for today's video. I hope you all did enjoy it. If you did, remember, hit that like button. If you think I missed anything or you want me to expand upon anything, please leave it down in the comments and I will do my best to respond, or I will even just make a new video on it. So that's also pretty sweet. If you guys did enjoy, please remember to like and subscribe. And until then, I will see you guys next time. Bye for now.